Okay, so I was scrolling through X, or formerly known as Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and I typically get some video ideas from that because the community on there, or just in general, gaming community, they give me ideas for topics and things I want to talk about, right? Anyway, so I was looking through there, and I follow a guy named Nick Tech. Most of you guys may know him. Pretty popular, content creator. And one of the questions they asked was, why are games taking so long to create? And this is a question that a lot of us have been asking recently because back in the day, I mean, on Xbox and PlayStation 2 and all these other consoles from back in the day, we would see game releases so much more frequently for franchises. I mean, I have some right here just to paint a picture for you. GTA 3 came out in 2001, Vice City came out in 2002, San Andreas came out in 2004. And then games like Dynasty Warriors, they came out pretty much almost every year. I can go through a huge list, right? Games just came out so much more frequently back in the day. And I understand technology's advanced, so I'm not dumb. I mean, I get it. But the point is that, like, the reason why I thought this was an interesting question is because I want to say that the reason why games are taking so long to make is because, well, they're just, trying to make them much more high quality, right? Because, I mean, we got 4080s doing 4K and 60 frames a second, you know what I mean? Or not 60 frames, hundreds of frames a second, whatever. Anyway, we got amazing hardware now that can output crazy resolutions and things. So developers are taking a lot more time to make these high quality, diverse games. I understand that, they're not just going to be right around the corner. But I don't think that's the reason why. I just don't. Let's look at some of these, that I've got on the list here. Most recently, Arkham Knight versus the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Arkham Knight came out in 2015. Suicide Squad came out in 2024. 9-year difference. GTA, the most notorious right now, or one of the most notorious, that's actually the second one. GTA 5 came out in 2013. GTA 6 is coming out in 2025, so a 12-year gap. We had Diablo 3 come out in 2012, and Diablo 4 finally came out in 2011. Red Dead Redemption came out in 2010. Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in 2018, an 8-year difference. And probably the most notorious and the worst one right now in the market is Elder Scrolls. We had the Elder Scrolls Skyrim come out in 2011, and the Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out potentially, still not announced, in 2026. So that'd be a 15-year time frame difference. So what is my speculations for why this is like this right now? Why is it taking 15 years for one of the most notable games to ever come out to finally have a sequel? We've had Fallout. We've had Fallout 4. We've had Fallout 76. We've had Starfield now. We've had three games that were all mediocre come out before their number one franchise, which is Elder Scrolls. Why? So, obviously, I think with Bethesda, there's a little bit different story. I think that what happened is they came out with Fallout 4, and they wanted to get into the live service market, and the fastest way they knew to get into the live service market was basically turn Fallout 4 into a live service game. So they came out Fallout 76 because they knew they couldn't do that to Elder Scrolls, right? So that was the thing with them. So they screwed up with that. Then they had Starfield on the pipeline as well. So they've been working on that. And I think that their whole development priorities are just out of whack, right? But I think that that's a similar theme through all these games I listed. Obviously, GTA and Red Dead are from Rockstar, so they kind of alternate now. Is they make Red Dead, then GTA, so they're kind of alternating, and they've got some other things they're working on too. But again, GTA Online has been so absurdly successful as a live service product that they just haven't had the need to rush GTA 6. Because they rush GTA 6, they got to move GTA Online to that type of format, right? GTA 6 Online or whatever the heck the next iteration of GTA Online is going to be, right? So I think that that's the crux of the issue, is that back in the day when games were coming out, there was no live service products to tide them over between games. Meaning like, okay, in Grand Theft Auto's, example, right? 2001, 2002, 2004, that's 3 games released in a row. Because they were competing against themselves, they needed a game to come out to stay in the market. And they were using kind of the same bones with all of them. But anyway, once GTA 5 came out and GTA Online was so successful, I think that was one of the first games that actually showed that hey, we don't need another game. We just need to make GTA Online better. And that's what they've done for the past decade now, going on 10, 11 years now, going into year 12. They've really just focused on the live service aspect. And I think that that's the biggest issue right now in gaming. And I wish I had like a full wrap in my brain around the subject. But here are my initial thoughts with it. Live service, online games, starting with the 360 and whatnot, when they started becoming popular, have really revolutionized and brought us some of the best gaming experiences. But now we're paying for it on the back end, meaning developers and companies are now looking at it like, hey, if we just make the gameplay loop addicting enough, it doesn't matter if we come out with a new game every 2 to 4 years. It matters that we can keep our live service features updated as much as possible. I don't know when the freak we're going to come out with another Diablo. Number one, they're having a ton of issues with community, happiness, right? Because it's not what they wanted. They see all the things that Path of Exile has, and they're like, hey, what the freak? This game came out way after Path of Exile. We should have a lot more stuff, right? So, but the gap between Diablo 3 and Diablo 4 was 11 years. It's going to be like 15, 16, 17 years between Diablo 4 and Diablo 5, if they're even going to come out with a Diablo 5. When we get GTA 6, 12 years between 5 and 6. Is it going to be another 12, 15 years between 6 and 7? I don't know. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm just like, these beloved franchises that we all have, like, the developers have zero initiative or patience or pressure to come out with a new game. And it sucks because I'm looking at franchises like one of my favorite things, and I go back to the GTA example a lot in this segment here, is I really did love the story for GTA. Like GTA 3, Vice City, and then San Andreas. I look forward to the next iterations of the story. When Max Payne 1 and Max Payne 2 came out, I enjoyed the iterations of that story. When the Mass Effect games were coming out, I enjoyed each segment of the story. They didn't take that long to come out. I think it was a couple of years between each game. I think the gap between 2 and 3 was the longest gap. The point being is that I understand everybody's thirst for new IPs, but sometimes I really do just want to play the next game from my favorite franchise. And I'm getting more disappointed that the gap is just getting so astronomically big between each release of each title. I think the worst one still by a mile, even though, yes, GTA is bad, but they've had GTA Online. So you can argue that. I mean, I didn't play GTA Online, but they have had some sort of GTA support this whole time. But the worst one is by far Skyrim. Skyrim is so universally loved. It's been released so many freaking times on so many different platforms, and it is so widely the most wanted next game, that the fact that Bethesda, now owned by Microsoft at Xbox, the fact that it's not been a priority for them to come out with is just basically disrespectful to the fans of that franchise, in my opinion. And I don't know. I'm glad that they tried something new with Starfield. I'm not hating on them for that. I'm glad that they did, because we need new IPs. But at the same time, I'm looking at it like Elder Scrolls should have been out before Starfield. Why was Elder Scrolls not the priority here? And I just question that about these developers in these studios, because they're just, man, they just know that when these games come out, we're gonna play them. And I don't know, it just is annoying to me. And that was one of the best questions. And I know it's simple, and we've all thought it, and we've all asked it. But when you go down the list of all these franchises that we all love, I mean, even Gears of War, when the freak are we getting the next Gears of War game? When the heck are we going to get the next Halo game? Even though I know Halo Infinite sucks, it's just, I don't know, like, where's the initiative and the drive for these developers to make the next game? Even if the game is not the best, they get another shot at the apple to make it better next time. Where's the drive and the passion for that? They're all so reliant on live service stuff to keep games alive that they're forgetting about the fact that, like, hey, I just want to see the next iteration of the story. Like, they're supposed to be coming out with a Last of Us Part 3, even though, yes, a lot of people didn't like Last of Us Part 2. Still, they're supposed to be coming out with Last of Us Part 3. Who the freak knows when that's going to come out? I don't know. It was just, when I thought about that question, the more I kind of like looked down this list of games, the more kind of frustrated I got, especially with Skyrim. I mean, it's been, I don't know, like, I knew it's been a long time, but 15 years? That's just a crime in my opinion, and very disrespectful to the Elder Scrolls community.